Happy Wednesday, everybody. Welcome into a special edition of the Final Whistle Sports Podcast. As always, I'm your host, Blaine Spencer. I've got a treat for you guys. I have the long snapper for the Las Vegas Raiders, Trent Sieg. It's a real honor to have him come on the show today. Trent, how are you doing? And thanks for taking some time.
Yeah, I'm doing great. Just taking a little bit of time to get away, talk with you, enjoy some downtime. Yeah, thank you for having me on here. Hopefully it's a good one.
Oh, it will be, no doubt. I got the utmost confidence in us. So, Trent, I want to start out with you in your high school days. You actually were a linebacker and a tight end in high school. And then You made that transition to long snapper once you made your move to Colorado State University. Can you just walk us through that process for you, why you made that change, and et cetera?
Yeah, of course. So actually, I started long snapping back in middle school.
Okay.
My dad kind of just always told me to do it. He said, like, who knows, it might pay for your college one day. So I was always kind of the long snapper on the team too, as I did like tight end, linebacker, defensive end, whatever. And so high school was kind of on the field every play except for kickoff and kickoff return. So that was really fun to be really just ingrained in the game. But yeah, I made it over to CSU as a walk-on. Was trying out as a tight end a little bit and kind of just working my way through camp. They mostly wanted me to be a long snapper while I was there, but I kind of was pushing for them letting me to be a tight end, so letting me practice there. And then college practices are a little bit different than high school practices. By the time we got to special teams periods, I was freaking gassed. I had one day where I snapped like 2 or 3 balls over the punter's head, and I was just, the coach was kind of like talking to me like, hey, you might not be on this team too much longer if you keep going like that. And then being a walk-on, and that was kind of my quickest way to a scholarship. I was just kind of like, okay, need to settle in, really focus on long snapping here. Like I might play as a tight end like my senior year, but I can play like next year as a snapper because I was redshirting my freshman year. So really just kind of took that redshirt year to really try to focus and hone my craft. Like it was great for me because I didn't have to worry about being ready for games. The snapper that was there before me / my first year there, Tanner Hedstrom, he kind of took me under his wing, taught me everything he knew. And he really helped me kind of learn how to approach just snapping in general. Yeah, and just moving on from there, it was a bit of an adjustment from being so involved in the game in high school to, got my 6 to 10 plays now that I got to go out and just try to impact the game in a positive way and not leave anything left out there because there's not many plays to make up for.
Did the gap for you as a long snapper change from high school to college? Was it a little bit of a longer snap for you to the punter? Because I know it depends on how each high school does it. Because I know where I played, it was a very short snap, quick punt. Was that big of a transition for you during that redshirt season?
So the distance wasn't really a big transition for me in our high school. Like our punter was like at 14, 15 yards too, or maybe like 13. So maybe like a yard extra or something.
Okay.
Which isn't a huge deal, but the biggest difference was the amount of consistency that they expected. Like high school, you're just getting a ball back there that they can catch, and then college, like they got the little strike zone, like pretty much the baseball one, like knees to like chest or whatever, and you're expected to put it there every time. Then going up to the NFL, it's an even smaller strike zone, which you kind of hear once you get up to the MLB, like strike zone gets smaller there too. So really, you'll be outside the strike zone every now and then, but they expect a very high level of consistency. Not only that, but with field goals too. The thing I didn't learn until like my sophomore year of college is on field goals that they wanted laces to be back there perfect. So when we snap on field goals, we want the holder to catch the ball. I got going. We want the holder to catch the ball so it's right like that, and they can just put it down. And that background's really screwing it up.
There it is. I
So
see it now.
so
Okay.
so they don't have to so that they don't
So
have
they
to
don't have
spin it
to
for the
adjust the
kicker.
laces at all,
Yeah,
right?
so you don't have any Ray Finkel situations.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so that was just kind of an adjustment period going through all that, and then NFL is just that they want that much more consistency with it, and then as well as adding the blocking into it. So it's all been a slow process of learning, but we're getting there. We're getting better every day. So just got to keep going with it.
Just got to take it day by day mentality. You just got to have that approach, get a little bit better each day.
Yep.
And
1% better.
Yeah. And then you started off, you appeared in every game at Colorado State after your redshirt season. And then once you made that transition, you went undrafted to the NFL. Was making an NFL roster always a dream of yours going in? Because I know you were first brought in by the Ravens, and then you were picked up by the Oakland Raiders, now Las Vegas Raiders afterwards.
Right. So yeah, always growing up, always wanted to play in the NFL, wanted to live out the childhood fantasy. And then about my junior year, I started to think it was like a bit of a possibility. Like until then, I was just kind of focusing on school and football. But junior year, kind of some agents start reaching out, and it's like start to daydream a little bit, But yeah, so really just kind of did whatever I could. Went to some exposure camps and just tried to take advantage of what I could. Knew I probably wasn't going to get drafted coming out. Knew it was going to have to be a free agency situation. Just it's kind of the way it is as a long snapper. Like there might be one every year or so that gets drafted, but I wasn't going to be that guy. But yeah, Baltimore picked me up, told me I'd get some good game film there and I can compete and learn from Morgan Cox while I was there, who's like the gold standard when it comes to long snapping. He's been insanely good for a long time. So really, I just took that as an opportunity to go in, learn from one of the best in the business, obviously compete my heart out. If I win the job, I win the job. But, that wasn't the main reason. Main reason was go get film and to learn from him. Like you said, Baltimore cut me at the end of the regular season, or not regular season, sorry, at the end of preseason. And then Andrew DePola over in Oakland at the time tore his ACL on the first punt of the season, and it sucks that that's the way that I got in, but it's kind of just the nature of the business. But they brought me in for a workout. I signed on, and I've been here ever since. But really, Andrew, he did an awesome job of kind of taking me under his wing as well, and just talking me through all these different looks, helping me approach the regular season as a pro, and helped me keep my head above water, really. So, yeah, I was very fortunate to learn from both Depot and Morgan, two pros and great guys to be around.
For sure. And then I know going undrafted was kind of expected for you. Did you still use that as a little bit of extra motivation, a little light under the fire to keep you going? Yeah,
definitely. Cause like, there's a little bit of a competitor in me, a little bit of that fire. But there was a snapper drafted the year I came out. I love Hunter and I'm super happy for him, but there's still the little bit like, oh, I wanted to be the drafted guy, but it just kind of use it as a little bit of a, well, if that's what if he got there, like this is what I got to do to make up for it. So definitely use it a little bit as a stepping stone, but it's all working out. So.
And can you just go over like for us? Cause like, I know I used to be a punter myself. So like, I understand.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. I was not very good, but I still played punter. But could you just go over the difference of being a long snapper over the difference of being like an every play center? Cause I know you guys are a little bit more protected on special teams. They can't line up over you guys, as well as, the pressure of it. Cause you're, the getting the ball to the punter as well as the holder on field goals is a paramount situation now in the NFL. Can you just walk us through that, how the differences work?
Yeah. So pretty much going from like your every down center, like those guys are way bigger and stronger than me. So just first right off the bat, but anyway, that they're really out there with the O-line. I'm just out there for punts and field goals, and really my job is to just be as consistent as possible. Like I said, I get like 6 to 10 plays a game between punts and field goals. If it's a really heavy work day, I might get up to like 14 plays. But really what that means is I have to approach it with a one play mentality. That's how Coach Versace always talks about it. Just a one play mentality. You've got to go out there and you just got to be right on. Because I mean, I'm sure you know, as a punter, punters like to catch the ball with their hands like this, so they don't got to flip the ball around. If I put the ball up here, it hurts the op time, can kind of affect how good of punt you can expect coming out of AJ. And kind of same thing with field goals is I want to put it right there, like I was talking about with the laces, so that it's just easier for AJ to not have to spin the ball, and he can really focus on getting his spot down, so that way Daniel can put it through the uprights like he's so good at doing. So yeah, it's just kind of I go out there and I just do my job. Don't really want to get a ton of notoriety while I'm out there. Usually they say having an anonymous long snapper is a sign of a good one. So
there you go. You're right on track.
As long as people don't know who I am, I'm doing my job. So.
Just for field goals, is the snap for you different at all in comparison to the punt? So is it more of a line? How do you approach the difference?
Yeah, it's just like a little bit of a lower release, and I don't really back up to block. I just kind of like snap and then take up space. So I don't really use my legs as much, and that kind of takes a little bit of the zip off of it too, so that the holder can handle it from 8 yards instead of 15.
Yeah. And have you ever been able to make have you ever made a big time play at Colorado State or even with the Raiders now on one of those punts or a field goal? Have you had one
I've been part of it. So I've been a part of a few game winning field goals. Those are always super exciting. We had one at Colorado State against Utah State. Actually, it was my freshman year or first year playing, and like had the game winning field goal, and that game actually like got us ranked, and it was like super exciting. And then we had my rookie year, we had a game winning field goal against the Browns in overtime. And then we also had another game winning field goal against the Cardinals right as time expired. So those are all exciting to be a part of. Been a part of a couple tackles, but usually I hurt more than the other guy does by the time I'm getting up. So
understandable. And for you now, you've been a part of the Raiders now for 3 seasons now.
Yep.
And you're a part of them when they're in Oakland. You guys have now made that transition to Las Vegas. I actually grew up from the Bay Area, so I've been
following. Oh, really?
Yeah. Wow. So I've followed the Raiders through my entire life. So
okay, so you're the Raiders, not the Niners fan then, right?
Yeah, I'm actually also a Washington fan, but I'm Raiders over the Niners.
Okay, good.
My dad was a diehard Washington fan, and he was the only son. I was the only son he was able to conform over to his side.
I didn't really realize how big the Battle of the Bay was until I got there.
Exactly, it's actually really intense. And
we played San Francisco my rookie year, and Gridiron was in there telling us how crazy it is, like how there's going to be fights and everything breaking out. I'm just like, I had no idea this game was this big a deal.
Yeah, when it's only once every 3 to 4 years, they take full advantage of the opportunity for those bragging rights. So, so how has that transition been from Oakland to Vegas though for the Raiders, and for you personally as well as for the team? Because I know there's been a little bit of backlash from the Oakland fan base about trying to follow the Raiders in Vegas. How's that been working?
Yeah. So when I got to Oakland, it had already been announced that the team was moving, and I kind of knew it was either going to be the next year or 2 years later that we ended up leaving Oakland. So I kind of came in expecting to leave, but that doesn't mean like I started to feel like at home with Oakland, and like there is a ton of passion in that fan base there, and it's always going to be part of the Raider DNA. And it's sad to leave it, but unfortunately it's a business, and we moved out to Las Vegas, and we're just hoping to make everyone proud. And everyone does a lot better with moving when we start winning. So
yeah.
So we're trending in that direction right now, and hopefully get a couple victories under the belt here, and the Oakland fans would like to have us back. But yeah, Oakland's definitely always going to be a part of our history and history moving forward too. So Las Vegas, I think, has been it's been kind of a fun experience being part of the new stadium. They've kind of not really spared any expense with the facilities or the new stadium, and it was just kind of sad to not really be able to share it with the fan base, like even if they were a little mad at us for leaving. But I know a lot of them are still huge fans and still diehards, and just would love to be able to share that stadium, and hopefully we get to do that in this season coming up.
Yeah, what are the do you have any idea what those expectations? How weird was it playing in the brand new stadium with nobody there?
It was so weird. Like, I don't even know how to describe it. Like you usually get that bit of electricity in the air, especially coming from Oakland, like all the fans have a little bit of an edge to them, and just very passionate to just like, all right, well, it's us and the other team. Like, you can hear the other coaches yelling at their players from our sideline, and just like you can hear almost every little conversation. And it's just like, it took a little bit to get used to it and to be able to amplify the electricity in there and really start to feel like game day again.
So for you, is the team were you guys trying to fuel your own energy to get yourselves going? Were there a lot more cheerleading by your teammates than you guys usually would have in a regular game?
Yeah, I think there was definitely a bit of all right, no one's here to get us going, so we got to get ourselves going. Personally, I try to kind of stay like just level throughout the game. But that's just as far as, like, I don't want to get out there and get super amped up for a snap and then have no idea where it's going. It's one of those few things where you playing emotionally as a snapper doesn't help you. So I try to stay try to stay even keel. But yes, as a team as a whole, I'd say people tried to get a lot more into it.
Yeah, and now they actually, was it a couple weeks ago or about a month ago now, you got a 3-year extension from the Raiders, right?
Yeah, it was about 3 or 4 weeks ago. Yeah.
Yeah. So congratulations on that.
Yeah, I appreciate it. It's nice to have a little bit of stability going forward. I've been on 1-year contracts for the duration of my career so far, so it's exciting to know that the team has confidence in me, and just know that I can just work here and just worry about football and not worry about where I'm going to be next year.
Yeah, and now, so what has been your focus on in this little off season? I know you've been doing a little bit of stuff on the side too, but what's been your main goal and focus for the off season going into 2021?
As far as my focus, just trying to really get stronger with my lower body, work on some flexibility, maintain strength, and just always trying to get more consistent as a snapper. For the most part, it's just been fit physically, staying in shape. And then just kind of try to enjoy the off season a little bit with the wife while we have it. So
understood. And I actually want to get your thoughts on this, just because it was breaking news a couple of weeks ago, or even now last week, I think, with the NFL going to a 17-game season. I just wanted to I know the players haven't been overly thrilled about it, and they've kind of been a little bit outspoken. I just wanted to get, what was your overall take on the NFL adding another game?
Yeah. It's kind of weird because I don't have like a super well thought out opinion on this. I know personally for me, the extra game doesn't really change a lot of what I do, because I don't get as beat up as a lot of the other guys. But I also look around the locker room and just see the guys limping around at the end of the season, and just like, damn, another game's gonna like it takes its toll, especially like over like 10 years that a lot of guys are starting to play, we got to take that much better care of our body, and not saying that we don't, but because guys are in the training room all the time, just trying to get out there on the field. But it's just kind of like I said previously with the move, like it's a business. NFL is trying to grow its brand. This is one way that it's going. Yeah, I mean, I think it can be a good thing, but it can also be a bad thing, and it's just something we've got to adapt to, and it is what it is at this point.
Yeah, and then what are the Raiders' expectations going into 2021? What's your guys' overall goal? Has Coach Gruden outlined that yet so far?
We're trying to make the Super Bowl push as always. I feel like we were right on the edge last year. We were almost like, what was it? I think we were about 5 plays away from being like a 10 or 11 win team. Mm-hmm. There's just like 3 or 4 games there that we kind of just we just lost for one reason or the other, but we're right in virtually every game. I think there was a definite improvement over I guess 2 years ago. We ended up with only 1 more win, but there's definitely a different feel about us, and especially with the quality of opponents that we were beating and everything. So I think we're right on the edge. We kind of, if we just push and get that much better this year, I think we should definitely be able to make a playoff push.
And Trent, that's awesome. I want to switch some gears now to something that you picked up now in the offseason. Austin Ekeler, who I've actually had on the show recently, he started up Gridiron Gaming Group, which is where he's brought on athletes to try and promote themselves either through video games or their Twitch streams, just a variety of ways to engage with your audience and build your brand a little bit personally. Right. You are now a member of Gridiron Gaming Group. Can you explain why you made the move, and what's your overall goal and for your stream as well as for you?
So yeah, I'll just go back to where like it kind of all started. Like Austin during COVID and everything, he kind of got into Twitch and started like streaming workouts, and then moved into video games a little bit. And I was kind of watching him, seeing how much fun he was having. Austin and I go way back to elementary school. He's one of my best friends from.
Oh, that's awesome. Full circle.
Yeah. So we've always stayed in touch, and I just kind of watching what he's doing. And it's like, that looks like it might be kind of fun. Like I've kind of thought about streaming. I just kind of said whatever, I'll try it out. Last off season, well, we were all stuck inside our houses. Give me some sort of outlet, you know. So I started streaming. I'm mostly even using it to interact with fans, kind of get to know the fan base a little bit. We talk football. We just kind of talk a little bit of life too. It's just a chance to let people see me outside of just out there in the uniform on Saturday, you know. And I think they're overall, that's what I think most of the guys for GGG are doing. And it's a really cool way for fans to come in and like get to know us a little bit. And like I've got some regulars in there that come in, they talk a little bit of trash.
That's awesome.
Always love to talk about the most recent Raider news with them. But yeah, it's just a good time. GGG is just kind of a combination of all those kinds of people. Like Austin plays for the Chargers. I'm with the Raiders. We got a baseball player from the Dodgers. We got a IndyCar driver. Like it's all tons of professional athletes, and we're all just trying to share our communities amongst each other. And I know Austin, he probably has talked about this, but he just kind of wants to build a platform for people or athletes who want to start streaming and just don't know exactly where to start, where they can come in, and there's kind of like a built-in community. Okay. And we can all get together or have a good time, maybe talk some trash between Raiders and Chargers fans, but it's a good time, and I've really enjoyed doing it.
Were you a part of the big Super Bowl bonanza that he did, and how'd that go?
Yeah, I was a part of that, and that was insane. There was way more turnout than any of us were expecting, but Austin really put a ton of work into getting all that together. There's just like between all the games that were going on and the giveaways, and there's like a scavenger hunt that turned into another giveaway for, gosh, I can't remember. I think it was like $500 and a like a HyperX like headphone set, and I think there might have been an Xbox One included too. Like I guess what like
real big time incentives.
Yeah, like absolutely insane giveaways, and Austin did a great job of setting it up so that it would be like fun and interactive for everybody, kind of send people around each other's streams, and like I said, just trying to build the community. And I know he's trying to set up a bunch of events like that throughout the year. And I mean, I'm not going to speak for Austin, but I'm sure there's going to be a lot more giveaways along with those too. But yeah, it's just really fun to interact with all those guys. We also, for that event, Sunless Khan and KK were a part of it too. Sunless is a huge in Rocket League. KK is a big time Madden player. Like it's also cool because it's introducing us to people from other industries as well, or from like the gaming industry as well as athletes.
Mm-hmm. So I gotta ask, you talked about some of their go-to games. What's your go-to game right now?
Right now I am grinding on Rocket League.
Okay.
It's so hard and it frustrates the hell out of me, and I love it. And I can't touch Rocket League because I get mercy ruled before the game even starts. So yeah. I was really big on Warzone for a little bit. I still play it. I do kind of a combination of a few different games, but right now the go-to is Rocket League.
Well, that's awesome. And Trent, I want to thank you so much for coming on, taking some time out of your Wednesday. I know it's your off season. I know so I'm real humbled that you were able to come on the podcast.
I appreciate it. You took me away from installing floors right now, so I appreciate that.
So a little bit of a detour for a half hour.
Yeah, let me sit down for a little bit.
Well, again, thank you so much for coming on. I would love to do this again if you were open to it.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, everyone. That was your Wednesday special Final Whistle with Las Vegas Raiders long snapper Trent Sieg. Everyone, enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you.